Okay, so good morning, everyone. So it seems to gold, not many people have joined, but let's wait for another 1 or 2 minutes and we can get started. Anyways, happy Lohri, happy Makar Sankranti, and many other names which is there. So I believe you can also do some information retrieval related to the name of festival, right? So for example, either you search for Lohri or probably Makar Sankranti or probably some other name which has been called to. Ideally, you should get the similar results, right?
Yes, sir. Happy Makar Sankranti.
Yeah, you too. I haven't. I usually don't see. As many as flying kites, at least in Delhi, in my home city. We usually, fly a lot of kites, but I I don't know if
Uh,
the culture.
because of too cold, sir.
I
The
don't know. It
people
is.
are inside the home. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Anyways, not visible due to pollution. Okay. Anyways. Okay. So anyone here who haven't joined Google Classroom yet, in case you have already finalized taking this class, anyone please raise your hand if you have haven't joined Google Classroom yet. Okay, so it seems everyone has already joined the Google Classroom. Okay, that's good. Okay, so get started without any further delay. So let me share my screen. And okay, so I hope you can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's get started. And good morning, everyone, again. And welcome to the class of information retrieval. So I hope as part of the first class, we have tried to give a overview of what information retrieval is, why do you need to study information retrieval as a course, and who are the people who are involved in information retrieval, what kind of information you can retrieve. We have also discussed about the different course related information, like how, what are the topics we are going to cover, who are the TAs we have, what are the evaluation, what were the evaluation criteria we are going to follow, and what is the overall schedule in the course. So for the reference, because since it's a shopping week and many people, there might be some new people in today, and in fact I also got some queries from the student. Yeah, so could we add more details on the projects, could we add more details on the timeline of the project and so on. So before starting my lecture today, so I would like to probably go into some details of that. So again, just a recap. So my email ID is this. You can reach to me if you have any queries. So please try to mention information retrieval in the title of the email. Otherwise, it's difficult me to follow, and probably I may not able to give due attention. So we have some of the RAs: Abhishek, Anmol, Avinash, Hemant, Pragya, Rahul, and Ritvik, and hopefully we'll get probably 1 or 2 more TAs because the number of student has increased since earlier registration. So if you haven't joined the Google Classroom 8, so this is the class code. So please join it. So for office hours, so for time being, I'm going to set up by email appointment for myself. And if I receive too many emails or too many such requests, I can set some office hours in a week, and we are very flexible with that. And we are going to set up 1 hour doubt clearing session with the TAs every week. So what I'm planning to do, since we are going to have, if we see the current trend, probably we are going to have 225 students in the class. So I'm going to divide the students in a group of say 25, so that one TA will be mainly kind of helping you in clearing your doubts for 25 students. And in this way, basically, we can be more focused, and uh, uh, hopefully, your queries after the class can be resolved by the TAs. You can also get back to me if you have any further queries. And hopefully, I mean, this model will help us, because considering given big class, it may not be feasible to yeah, so have a joint doubt clearing session. But anyways, so we'll see how it goes. So if required, we can make any further changes there. So regarding the office hours for this doubt clearing session, we are going to have hopefully from 5:30 to 6:30 once in a week, so that it won't affect or clash with your existing classes. Any questions here so far? Any questions, comments? Okay, hopefully not. I treat silence as a everything is good. So regarding the work for the class and the evaluation, so I try to make it more detailed. So for the midterm, I just reduced 2 marks here because I want to have some group presentation for different groups. So again, the idea for the group presentation is that so that uh, student will be aware of the different type of problem that different people can deal with, because usually as a group, I mean, you may not have enough time to look at all type of IR related problems. So the idea is to give you a overall picture, and I understand that many students are do not have very good background, at least they are novice in terms of NLP, machine learning, and so on. So that's why we are not this time planning to give enough, or you can say much weightage to this group presentation. But the reason being, we want to keep it just 2 marks, because uh, it won't affect, despite you are novice in the area, but at least you will be able to learn, study from your presentation, from others presentation, what are the problem, what type of problem that you can see in the IR that can be solved, and so on. So I reduced 2 marks from midterm. Again, it's very nominal, and rest of them are same. I just given a more detailed distribution of the same. So in term will be again 25, and I have also mentioned the kind of tentative schedule when they are going to happen. So like midterm is, I mean, it is already defined by the admin. In term, that is already defined by the admins. So quizzes that we can have, most likely one before mid-sem and one is after end-sem. Regarding assignment and the project, so we are going to have 3 programming assignment, 4 marks each. So one will be due in week 3, one will be due in kind of week 5, and one will be due in after the mid. I think this is also mid after midterm. So that is week 11. So usually these programming assignment won't be uh, too detailed, or you can say that too hard to solve, and we plan to give probably 1 to 2 weeks based on the complexity and situation to complete this, right? So regarding the projects, I mean, the final project is due around the end of the semester, that is the week 14. uh, and so when I say the final project, I mean, we expect you to complete, I mean, the report, I mean, the all the code evaluation, presentation, novelty. I mean, we are going to judge based on these aspects. And we usually have, at least in my course, I used to have a mid project review as well. The reason being, based on my experience and my colleagues' experience, if we don't do so, the people start the project by end of the semester itself, just 1 week before this, and that's how basically they affect their project, and they are not able to perform well. I mean, and then they basically come up, I mean, yeah, so please give us mark. I mean, that is by that time it is not possible. So the core idea of having mid project review or kind of evaluation is more not only the evaluation, but also help you out if you stuck somewhere, because many times people start the project but somehow they feel okay, so they are not able to proceed due to several reasons. Probably the data set is not available, data set is too big. I mean, I understand it is not possible for a student to probably realize all those aspects. So these midterm reviews basically help us to address those much before it affect your grades or projects and so on. So it's more this midterm project review is more to help you, and hopefully, I mean, And based on my experience, it has helped a lot to the different groups, and they come up with finally at least some nice projects. And yeah, so that is the aim here as well. The idea is, I mean, we want you to basically come up with some group projects which you also feel proud after the end of semester, like what you have produced by the end of the course. So any questions here before we proceed next?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can we keep a n-1 policy for the quizzes? Like we can take 3 because sometimes it's the internet issue and it happened with us in other subjects also before. So if it is n-1, it would be great if we could keep
So
that
when you
3
say n
quizzes.
minus one, that is we should have 3 quizzes and best of 2 should be considered, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I will do so. That's not a big issue. So what I will do, we can have 3 quizzes here and best of 2 can be considered. Is this fine?
Yes, sir. And sir, can you please highlight upon what till midterm for the project, what things have to be done? Like it is written proposed approach. So is it the final approach or something
No,
that we
no,
have
no,
thought of?
no. It is, that's why I mentioned proposed approach, because the proposed approach may work, may not work, and even you may not able to, because by midterm you may not able to even complete that. That's why I'm saying it's a more proposed, you may not able. That's why I changed this proposed approach to methodology here, because by this time, by end of the project, you should have the methodology. That is, you completed whatever you have. So at least in midterm project review, I mean, my aim is to at least look at, you perform the literature survey, at least you understand the problem at least, right? And once you understand the problem, perform the literature survey, probably you may also realize what is the issue with existing literature survey. At least my expectation is to complete at least that part. Once you're able to highlight challenges, you can probably think of, okay, so probably this particular component problem I'm going to solve. So if you are able to achieve something, that's good. If not, I mean, yeah, so at least you can discuss by that time and you'll have enough time to complete the project.
So
Sir,
any,
you will be giving us the topics for projects or we have to decide on our own?
I'm coming to that. Anything else?
so in the
Sir,
programming assignment, what
Yeah, Rahul.
programming language will be used?
I mean, yeah, we don't mind. I mean, but usually, I mean, we'll be using Python. I hope, I mean, Python is not an issue with anyone, right? So just to make it, because we will see, I mean, what is the best way it can be done. But hopefully it should be, the programming language should be Python.
Sir, all
sir,
the
could
assignments are group, right? All the assignments are group, or there will be individual assignments also.
So most of the assignment will be, anyways, I mean, we have just 3 assignment, right? So probably what we can do, one, we can have individual assignment, 2 may have group assignment, or probably 2 may have individual assignment, 1 may have group assignment. So at least it will, as I said earlier as well, it will be mixed. It will be mixed.
sir, is it
So not
possible for
all
you to
assignment is, yeah, Osin, sorry. Please
yeah,
go.
is it possible for you to increase the weightage of mid-project review, because it would take a lot of time for us to like make the report, etc. So like
I agree. I agree. The in fact, usually I used to have enough weightage for midterm review earlier, but based on my experience, because just think in that way, there are many students, at least in the class, who may not able to learn, or probably may not able to complete a lot by midterm project review, right? Because they have just novice and they have just started probably machine learning, NLP, and so on, right? So and in fact, I mean, just treat it like that. Even though, I mean, I understand you are putting a lot of effort and so, but if you are able to put all those efforts by midterm, despite the weightage is not much, but end of the day it is going to help you in the final project, right? Because by midterm you are able to already finish half of it, and you have enough time to just make it more progress and complete a very good final project. So I just want to give, and I just want to be fair with the people who probably may not have enough background in NLP or machine learning in the beginning, so that they have enough time to at least learn and finally make some good progress by end of the project. Is it fine?
yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
will the midterm and end term be like live, or will they be take home assignments?
Again, I mean, it depends on how you guys perform, how you guys basically, I mean, we have in a sense, probably midterm we may have MCQ. Most of the question may be MCQ, and probably one question probably is subjective, where basically you have 1 or 2 hours time and complete it, right? So it's more like, yeah, because it's virtual, right? I mean, we don't have much ways to control. So one possibility could be, again, majority of the question, at least in the midterm, will be MCQs, and probably we may have 1 or 2 questions where you have to write. And yeah, so you'll be given enough time. Again, it won't be 1 day, 2 day. It will be probably a couple of hours, 1 or 2 hours, and it should be good.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, any more questions before?
So project group members can be decided by us, right? Or that will be decided by the TAs.
Sorry, group?
Project group members can be
I'm coming
decided
to
by.
Yeah, I'm coming to any. Okay, so probably let me go to that slide, otherwise there will be a lot of repetitive questions. So regarding project guideline, so again, you are free to choose any project involving information retrieval and so on. So somehow information retrieval, if you have any project, so how you can choose that? Simple way, if you have at least some background, if you have at least some background in NLP or machine learning, I encourage you to basically take any paper of 2020 from SIGIR or International Conference of Machine Retrieval, Multimedia Retrieval, and so on. You are free to do so. If you don't want to take, so probably I can show you some of the example, by the way. If you go SIGIR 2020 full papers, you'll see, I mean, these are all the full papers published last year, right? So for example, studying product competition using representative learning. I mean, yeah, so I understand. Similarly, convolution embedding for edit distance. I understand that it may be too much or too complex for at least a few people, but that's something, I mean, it is not mandatory to choose paper from here. It is for people, I mean, if you want to challenge yourself and probably want to you want to basically do more, you are free to go and probably select any papers from there and take it forward. You are also free to choose any problem around you using IR. So for example, it could be like doing information retrieval for, say, suppose we are talking about festival, right? So can we do some build a better information retrieval system for Indian say Indian festivals, or probably in general anything. So I don't mind. I mean, you are free to choose anything, and you simply have to, because we'll be giving a timeline when you have to come up with the project title and the thing, and you'll have to basically not you'll have to discuss the topic with your TA or at least myself, anyone, I mean, whoever you can, and you can basically choose any problem which you feel related to IR. So you are also free to choose any publicly available data set or state-of-the-art code of the papers. I'm fine with that, but you'll have to acknowledge everything, like, okay, so this part of the code is already available, and this is the new changes I've done, right? The project team size, yeah, it should not be more than 5 students in a group. If you want to work in a less group, I mean, hopefully it should be fine. So yeah, but ideally, I mean, the group size should be 4 to 5. But if you want to work with less students, let me know. And project report should be ACM SIGIR LaTeX template. We will share this. The reason being, I mean, so that all the reports should look similar. Otherwise, we see, I mean, all the reports are someone using something, someone using Word, someone using anything else, and it's very difficult to basically have systematry basically, or probably look if they are same or different. Yeah, so any kind of plagiarism is strictly prohibited, and you'll be given 0 marks. Anything, either it's quiz, assignment, project, exam, and so on. So so please avoid this because that is something is not tolerated. Yeah, so now any other questions? Yeah, any questions here?
So
Any
if
specific
someone doesn't have a background in NLP and all, then what will be the approach to select the projects?
So for them, basically the best approach, at least for the student who don't have much background in NLP and so on. I mean, because we will be over the class, we'll be discussing about how you can build different classifier, and so at least for some, right? So we assume like you may probably come up with some solution. You may come up with some problem at least around you. So for example, I've given the festival, right? I mean the festival information retrieval system for festival retrieval in Indian context, something, right? So in that case, probably you may need to probably come up with some data set. You may, because you may not have exact data set available for you, right? So in that case, probably you may create some data set, right? Create some data set for your particular problem you're working on, and at least build basic classifier, or at least build a basic information retrieval based system and so on, because there are two aspects, right? And both are actually equally good. So one aspect is focusing on the research aspect and build probably a system, information retrieval based system, which is performing well as part of research. You can also come up with a system and which is also equally recognized and supported, is probably building an information retrieval based system. It's more considering the engineering aspect of it, right? When I say the engineering aspect, probably you end of the course, I mean, you come up with a project which shows a very good information retrieval based system for Indian festival. So for example, I ask any query, like say Lohri. I mean, it should be able to, if your database also have probably other festival which probably the same as Lohri, but probably in some different parts it's been called different. So ideally, your system should be able to deal with that, right? So we are perfectly fine, at least. So my understanding and probably motivation will be to others, will be those who have good understanding of at least fair understanding of NLP, computer vision, or probably machine learning. They can probably choose some papers, and those who want to probably have more time for understanding, they probably come up with some engineering based information retrieval based system for their project. Am I making sense here?
Okay, sir.
Any last date for when we have to report group members?
Yeah, I'm coming to that. So the group formation, I mean, hopefully, I mean, if you can complete for, because the people are still finalizing for the course. So if we can complete by end of the next week, so kind of that would be great. Regarding project selection topic, that is another week you have. So again, so right now, as you see, I mean, these are not graded deadline or something. If you can do delay, I mean, it is basically, I mean, it is not going to affect me, but to you, because the earlier you form the group, earlier you select your project topic, I mean, it will be good for you that you have more time to probably work on your project. The key is, I mean, start early, and that will basically help you. So these are some tentative timeline. Again, we can work on the exact date later on if the dates are required to change. But I mean, these are right now tentative deadline. So like, if you see, I mean, you have enough time for everything. So group formation by 21st, that is after a week now. Project topic selection, you have another week. And after at least 2 weeks, you have more time for literature review and so it's more to a kind of 20 days or something. So you have 20 days to complete the literature review completion or something. And if you see the mid project review it's not too early. It still have more than at least now you have 2 months time. Right? So it's Jan. So you have 2 months time to perform the mid project review. So, and if you see at least 1 month after the literature review completion, so you still have enough time to at least explore what can be done and so on. And finally, the project due is by end of kind of mid of April, and the final projection will be decided later.
Sir,
Yeah, Venkatesh.
so with regards, like, let's say we are building an IR system and like we come up with some novelty, like a new method of training or something, in case we are using some models. So like, is it necessary that it has to beat existing baseline, or is it okay if it's competitive or close to existing baseline?
So if you see here, I mean, that's why I mentioned in novelty, because many times if you bring novelty, I mean, you may not have some system to compare with, right?
Yes.
So in that case, it's fine. I mean, you'll evaluate it accordingly. So similarly, probably I can add a aspect here, engineering, novelty, or probably engineering, or probably something, right? But irrespective whether it's an engineering, irrespective whether it's an engineering based project, irrespective whether it's a research based project, evaluation need to be done, right?
Yes.
Because evaluation can be done in both cases, whether it's an engineering based system or it's a research based system.
Sir, I want to know what is the difference between research-based and engineering-based project?
So when I say the research based, it's more you probably can start the project by size by selecting some papers here. You can follow what are the baselines they have, what are the state of the art you can build and probably beat and so on. So when I say the engineering based project, I mean we are not expecting you to basically build a kind of very build a very, you can say, uh, sophisticated research based applying like advancement in the all the machine learning based models which are available, or probably all the advancement in NLP and thing we want you to apply. We are fine with you if you apply the basic machine learning techniques as well. We are perfectly fine, but at least it should be workable. It should be workable in a sense. I mean, in engineering based project, I mean, at least I should be able to play with the system, right? In research based project, you are fine if you just build the model, because in that case your research result is something that can be validated. In case of engineering based project, I should be able to play with the systems, like I should be able to give my input. I should be able to see what output or result you're giving in response to my query.
Right, sir, right.
Okay.
So in case a team picks up a paper and reproduces the result, how will we have a novelty? Because like you said that that is also an option to choose a paper and attempt to reproduce their results.
So reproduction is something, I mean, in that case, you lose some marks in the evaluation, right? Definitely, I appreciate if you probably take some papers, reproduce everything. That's good, right? Reproduction can be done even in many ways. If the source code is already available and you reproduce, it means you did not put much effort. If the source code is not available of the paper and you implemented everything, right? So that is something, I mean, we value. I mean, that's fine. I mean,
Okay.
so despite, I mean, you're not able to beat the whatever the result they have, but you have implemented the code, everything, and probably from the scratch and completed. So that is something we value. But ideally, I mean, it would be again if we, because it's a relative grading in the course, right? So in that case, suppose there are two students, both of them have reproduced the code, but probably the second team probably also propose some new changes to this, and they are able to probably beat the state of the art result, or probably the reproduction result. In that case, probably they will be given little bit higher marks as compared to the team which has just reproduction. But again, only the reproduction is also we value and we appreciate. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any other question before we proceed? Anyone? Okay, so believe I hope it is clear. So again, I mean, all the timeline I mentioned, I mean, so these are the tentative timeline, and it would be great if we meet it. If you probably think, I mean, this is a bit ambitious, hopefully it should not, but we can work on, we can basically work on the timeline. Okay, so just a quick recap. So in the last class, we also discussing, I mean, so what is IR, what is information, I mean, what is the data retrieval, what is the data mining? Just to give a quick recap again. So as we have discussed in the last class itself, right? So information retrieval system is more about, for a given query, you have a list of documents in your database, and probably they are indexed. You need to find the most relevant, or you can say the ranked list of document for your given query. So very simple example that probably we have given last time is the Google search, right? So you simply do a query on Google and you get a list of documents in response to that. So that is the example of information retrieval. So for example, suppose you're looking for a cafe in New Delhi, right? In that case, the query is cafe in New Delhi. So you basically need to represent the query in some form, You can use different representation. So how the information retrieval system work here? So you have the list of documents. So in that case, you have the web pages, you have all the content which are available, and these web pages also have, say, media, URL, or probably other metadata and so on. So again, the way query is represented, similarly, all the documents that are indexed will be represented, right? So information retrieval does nothing but a comparison of, you can finding the simple similarity between the given query and all the list of documents that you have, and compute the similarity among them. So we have in the last class where some of you highlighted, you can use Euclidean distance, some of you mentioned you can use cosine similarity and so on, right? So based on those similarity distance metric, you can come up with the rank list of document for a given query, and that is the response to the given query for information retrieval. As we have also discussed in data mining last week class, right? So data mining is basically the ability to retrieve information from one or more data sources. So here basically we basically in data mining, we try to uncover or find out the different hidden pattern among all the data that you have. So in case of data mining, often you come up with more than one sources and try to perform some association or other kind of data mining technique as well to uncover the pattern, right? So for example, in the information retrieval, we have given an example of cafe in New Delhi. So that is, it will simply, for a given query, it will give you a list of cafe in Delhi, right? Can anyone give the similar example for, taking the same example, like we are talking about cafe in Delhi. So what could be the data mining example here? Anyone?
So like basically maybe trying to find like what kind of customers arrive at the cafe, and like basically grouping customers according to what they like, and
Very nice.
trying to target.
Very nice. Anyone else?
Also finding what kind of food is like visualizing like seasonal food, what kind of food is maximally ordered, something like that.
Very nice. Anyone else before we proceed?
Also, maybe the price range, you can group it out, like where posh people go and where normal people go.
Yeah. So basically all this decision, this is something that you can derive and get it using derive this pattern using the different data mining techniques. So one example basically you can give. So in information retrieval, the query input is cafe in New Delhi, but probably for data mining you can think of it like, now suppose I'm going to start a new restaurant, a new cafe, right? Which area I should open it? Because that now you will basically do a lot of data mining. Or similarly, what should be the price range, as you rightly mentioned, what should be the price range of my cafe? What area we should open it? What kind of customer I should focus on, right? In that case, that all this data, all this information that you can find out from whatever all the data that you have, and that is not only from one document, and you need to derive this information from multiple sources which are available, right? And similarly, the big data is the ability to manipulate huge volumes of data, and thus for exceeding the capacity of single machine. That is because suppose if I ask you how big is the big data, right? Can anyone define what is big data? Because big data is again depends on there is no exact definition for that, right? Because it depends on different people have different capacity, or like when mention a single machine, someone has probably very high in machine and someone may have very low in machine, right? Or moderate machine, right? So for them, the definition of big data means it's, so that's why it's more, probably the data which is beyond your processing, at least for a single machine. So if you see, the relation between all three, so kind of big data uses data mining, and data mining uses kind of information retrieval. Am I clear here? Any questions before we proceed?
So basically, the information retrieval can be said like that. It is a subset of data mining.
Yeah. So kind of, it's basically one of the way you can achieve data mining. Because again, in data mining, as I said, you need to do a lot of things, right? So here, in order to make a lot of decision in the data mining, you will be in a way doing information retrieval, right? So for example, the cafe in New Delhi, right? So you have a list of documents already in Delhi. So in data mining, in case of information retrieval, for a given query, you just do a comparison of query and one document, query and one document, query and one document, and you basically, based on the similarity score, you give the ranked list of documents. In this case, basically you have, for example, whatever the query you have, for that you have list of documents, and you also need to find the, you can say the, how you can associate or combine the data from different sources that you have, right? In this case, for example, there is 10 restaurant or probably 50 restaurant in Delhi. In that case, you combine the data from all the restaurant in order to combine it, cluster it, and finally visualize it and discover different patterns. Like, but this particular area focuses on people with probably high income. This particular area probably focuses on, say, South Indian food, similarly, and so on. So in that case, I mean, you see, I mean, you are using information retrieval to achieve data mining, but yeah, but it's a kind of way of achieving data mining.
So I have a question. In the IR systems, how to know that these made IR systems are trustworthiness? Like how to justify the trustworthiness of these systems, like we do in ML now. So suppose if ML model is predicting something, so it is predicting correct, but it not need to be always trustworthy. So similarly in IR systems, how to justify that for a query, it is giving some document results, but maybe it can give some false results also. So what is the concept for this thing in IR?
Yeah, of course, it can give the false result. That's why, I mean, you need to often the query that you have made, that may not be probably the best representation of what you want to ask, right? So because there is kind of gap between what you want to ask and what query do you want to write, right? So often there is a huge gap between those, and in order to fill those gap, often what happens in IR system, the system, if the results given by the IR system is not up to your expectation, you can refine the query. Again, those query refinement is something, I mean, you can do manually, but again, you don't want to do manually. In that case, I mean, can we basically automate this process? That's why the people moving towards automatic query refinement, right? If you look at let me show you the paper I'm saying. If not here, then okay, I think it's somewhere. So if you see, at least I'm in the last even few papers, there are a number of papers on the query refinement itself, because as I said, I mean, the query you ask may not be the exactly what you want to ask, right? There's a huge semantic gap, and in order to fill that, you can basically update the query, refine the query, and the relevance feedback is the way, I mean, you can also refine the query. So that you'll be studying in the upcoming classes.
Sir, could you cite an example for which will be covering up IR, data mining, and big data in a nutshell?
Sorry?
An example which will be covering somewhat an IR, data mining, and big data.
So we have just given, right? We have given example, like in case of information retrieval, suppose you just have to find cafe in New Delhi, you will get a list of documents. In case of data mining, suppose you want to make a decision, right? Which locality I should open my restaurant, right? Similarly, what are the customer I should be focusing on? So you are doing data mining based on the different information retrieval that you'll be doing. Is it clear?
Yes.
Any other questions before we proceed? Okay, nice. So again, I just want to give a quick recap, and the reason being I want to stressing on recap. Firstly, I mean, yeah, so it's a first week. Let's go smooth. And secondly, I mean, I want to give an overview how the overall IR system works, because end of the day, I mean, this is going to be remain same, and only the representation or data is going to change, right? So the information need, you have some input query, and you need to represent your query into some representation. And this way, this is your query representation, representation of the query. Similarly, you have a database where you have a list of documents, and you need to also represent each document and also need to index them. The reason you want to index is so that you can have the representation and match the query and the document you have on the same, you can say, the space. And once you have the query, once you have the list of documents in your database in some representation, ideally the both representations should be similar. That's how you can compare, otherwise you cannot compute the similarity or the distance. So once you have the query representation for your query information need, and once you have again the representation for all the documents in your database, you simply perform the similarity matching between query and all the documents if you have. So for example, if you have n documents, I mean, you are going to compare with all n documents, and based on the similarity score or the distance, you rank the list of items, right? So once you have the rank list of items, as you have rightly mentioned, I mean, the sum of the result may not up to your expectation, right? In that case, you need to provide a kind of relevance feedback, and based on that relevance feedback, your query is modified, and that is something called query refinement. And based on that refined query, again, I mean, the same process will be keep happening, and so that until you get the results. And how good or bad this rank result is, you can need to perform different evaluation, and that evaluation, I mean, you can use different evaluation metric like precision, recall, that will be discussing in the upcoming classes and so on. Is it clear, or any question here before we proceed? Okay, so I believe it's clear. So in the last week, we have discussed about, I mean, how the different IR based system work, right? So for example, before jumping into how the whole actual IR system work, I wanted to show and at least want you to appreciate what the different IR system you can come across, how the different IR system you can build, right? And because this will also help you, this will basically also help you to determine what kind of project you can work on, right? So for example, we discussed about building a system in the last class about say police system, where you have some visual memory of the person, and based on that visual memory, can you retrieve the person from the criminal database that you have, right? This is one of the example that you have. So what about other kind of system? So again, I mean, the text based information retrieval system you already just discussed. So for example, cafe in New Delhi. So this is simple query, and you have list of all documents on the Google, and you get the results. So that is text based information retrieval system. What are the other type of information retrieval system you can think of? So definitely in whole this course, we'll be mainly focusing on the text-based information retrieval system. But I'm perfectly fine if some student want to probably take forward with some cross-media retrieval-based system, or you can say the multimedia-based information retrieval system. We'll be very happy to support and encourage you to basically do so as well if you are interested in doing so. So in order to be building a multimedia information based system, so how about lip movement based text for information retrieval system? Because as we have discussed, what are the different input you can think of? This input could be simply text, this input could be audio, the speech, and this input could also be, so for example, the person cannot speak, right? I mean, in that case, can you perform the lip reading on the person's lip movement to understand what query the person has and provide the answer, right? So in that note, I want to show one of the work. So lip movement text-based system for information retrieval. So the idea is same, right? I mean, once you have the lip movement represent into and understand what the person has said, and you can perform. So here basically what you can do. So based on the lip movement, you can just determine what text, or you can say the word person has said. And once you have that word or the sentence, you can represent into query and perform the similarity. So how many of you heard of the term lip reading, and how many of you know what lip reading is? Anybody know what is lip reading? Anyone raise your hand or unmute yourself?
Is that the ability to read, means just deduce or not guess, I would not say guess, but deduce that what a person would be talking about at a distance by just reading just reading the movement of their lips.
Okay, nice. So who need to do, I mean, do you think, I mean, the lip movement is needed only for the people who cannot speak? Do you think it is useful for the normal people as well?
Suppose, sir, hello.
Yeah.
Suppose there is a video where there is no sound coming, but you need to gather information from that.
Right.
If a person is speaking or is the video of that sort of thing, then you can gather information from the lip reading, lip movement. So that's the use of lip movement.
Right. So any other example anybody want to give? Venkatesh?
So there are some systems like that help people who can't type to code, like if they have some issues in hands due to surgery. So there are some permanent damages. So in that case, like a combination of voice and lip reading would increase the accuracy of such systems, like translating whatever they dictate to code or even text.
Yeah. Nice. So you may also basically think of a system like you are driving a car, right? So your hands are busy, right? Often, I mean, you want to know, I mean, yeah, so what is the situation? What is the situation in which traffic I should follow, right? Or which is the shortest route or something, right? One possibility, you just say something. But since it's you're driving in a very noisy environment, right? Your sound may not be very clear, right? But at least these days now you have camera everywhere, right? Even in the car you have a number of cameras. So can you just perform lip reading and get the information, right? Vijay, Vijay, you want to say something?
Yes, sir. Sir, won't this lip movement reading models would be highly biased because the same lip movement might generally has various other words for the various other sentences for the same lip movement, and it is highly dependent on what context the person is speaking. Maybe there are some locals which are speaking to among themselves, and there are some business persons, or there are some healthcare workers. So is it really that biased, or that is something trivial which can be solved easily?
So very good question, Vijay. Yeah, so the thing is, yeah, it is indeed a problem, especially in lip reading based system. And again, I mean, the people are working on that in order to solve that. So for example, as you rightly said, if I say million, if I say billion, right? I mean, the lip movement is similar, right? For both cases, both words, right? So in that case, so I mean, yeah, so there is a problem. But again, I mean, you'll have to start from somewhere, right? You'll have to, again, I mean, the people are working basically to use some kind of context in order to fix it, whether you mean million or billion based on the words or probably the context you're talking about. So indeed, I mean, these are some challenges in the visual recognition based system. But yeah, people are working on that. So, and regarding but again, I mean, such words, at the same time, I should say such words are not too many, right? Especially because if you're going to study the lip reading aspect, right? So different word, when you're saying, for example, if I'm uttering any speech is made of different phonemes, right? Similarly, if I'm uttering any lip movement, so the counterpart of phonemes in the visual speech recognition is called voicemes, right? Based on the different lip movement that you have, can you determine different words? So I will show you some of the systems. So for example, without any further delay, let me show the system, a lip movement example, basically. So for example, if we have to build a lip movement text-based system for IR, so let me show you a video for the lip reading. So I hope the lip reading is clear to you. So you need to understand what person has said based on the lip movement in the, say, in noisy environment, or you can say from the silent video or something, right? So for example, this is the person, right? So you have been given 4 options. So though, I mean, the computer don't have just 4 options, they have, I mean, the huge options. Among a huge options, they need to understand what the person has said. But considering, I mean, you are novice, you probably not lip reading expert, I'm giving you 4 options. Now you have to tell me what person has said. So I'm going to play the video, and you need to focus on the lip movement, and yeah, please let me know what person has said. Yes.
Sir, confidence.
Okay, so one person, Rahul, is saying confidence. What about others?
Confidence.
Confidence.
Sir,
Okay,
confidence.
so some people are saying
Confidence.
confidence. So now some people also saying
Conflict.
conflict. Is there anyone who also saying concerns? Because that is the only options is left.
So can you please play the video once again?
Let me play the video again. So let me play the video in slow motion, right? So probably that will be even more helpful to you. What do you think now?
Conflict. The conflict.
Conflict.
Okay, so now many people think it is conflict. Should we use some kind of 50-50 like Kaun Banega Crorepati? So how about I remove last two? I remove last two. Concerns and conflict are the wrong options.
So
So
can
let
you
me
play
play the
once?
video again.
It's conference.
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 Okay, still some people think it's a confidence, but majority of the people are saying conference. Then probably we can go majority voting. You can use that lifeline as well. And that is the answer, right? So the person has said conference. So let me play the actual video.
Conference.
So did you hear?
Yes, sir.
Conference.
The person is clearly saying conference, right? So I hope now you can appreciate how difficult it is for, any system that you're building based on the lip movement. So even though, our system is able to, and you see, right? How difficult it is for human, right? So the model is with say 65% confidence, it said conference, right? And in this way, based on that, you can basically perform lip reading and basically build a kind of lip reading based system. So what do you think? What are the issues with such kind of system? So definitely one issue is rightly mentioned by Vijay is the different words may have similar lip movement, right? What else?
So same word may have different way of expression. Like some people they utter the letter S in a different manner. Like someone's tongue may come outside in telling the word.
So you mean the accent, right? The different people
accent.
may have a different accent to different. Yeah, so that's
some people speak very fast also, so their lip reading so their lips like it will be different for if a system is trained on like a person who speaks very slowly and very clearly, and if a person speaks very harshly, like if we build a system for people who speak in the UK based English and and the system needs to work on people who speak American English, it will be very difficult for the system to understand.
Yeah, very good, very actually.
Some words are more commonly used in conversation than others, so you'll have more data on some words than on other words. For example, something like confidence is more like commonly used than something like omnipotence. So like some words are going to have like less data, so the machine won't be as like prepared to handle them.
Yeah, very much correct. Because so all the machine learning, and in fact the deep learning based, especially the deep learning based models, right? So they are data hungry, right? We need to feed a lot of data. We need to feed a lot of examples, right? In order, if you want the system to work. So I very much agree with you. Like, so if we have some word which probably the model haven't seen before, right? It is not going to perform well, hopefully, right? What else?
Some words have silent letters. So words have silent letters.
Okay.
So there can be another variant where that letter needs to be pronounced and that letter needs to be silent. So there can be a variety of words according to lip movement on that aspect.
So so many of you have highlighted very important limitations. So again, when we are working on any project, right? So one possibility could be, why not, just consider whatever the limitation we are talking about and address one of those, right? So similarly, the idea I'm also showing this example. So suppose you take any system around you. You build an information retrieval based system. So you can also aware of these are the major limitations with such kind of system. So how you can deal with that? So I understand it is not possible to address all those. So you can at least rank the different limitation and say, okay, so at least as part of this project, I'm going to focus on A. this, and so on, right? Similarly, if you're talking about different papers, right? So in the papers as well, I mean, papers has probably solved some aspect of it. For example, in this case, they have solved lip reading, right? And but they are not able to probably handle the issues, say what accent you mentioned. For similarly, it have probably doesn't work well for the word which having similar lip movement. Can you address that, right? So that is that could be one contribution that you can focus on. So the idea is, whatever the work is around you, whatever the system is around you, can you highlight some of the limitations and solve it? If you are probably want to be more creative, in that case, basically you can probably come up with an information retrieval based system where there is nothing is available. Probably you will be the first one who will be building that, right? So again, you are free to choose your project accordingly, and we are perfectly fine whatever you choose. So another limitation I can highlight is that, I mean, often such lip reading based systems are language dependent, right? So like in this case, previous lip movement based system is very much dependent on English. I mean, the model is trained only on English, right? Suppose if I give the lip movements, the person is saying some Hindi word, I mean, the system is not going to work, right? So what could be one possible solution?
Sir, I had a small question.
Yeah, Oshi.
Yeah, here when we're talking about like converting lip movement to actual text, isn't this more of NLP than IR?
No, you are right actually. So that part is NLP, right? But once you understand that, because here I'm focusing on understanding the input. So as I said, the input can be given in many ways, right? So either you simply give text. For example, who cannot give text, who cannot write? Can you focus on the speech? So input can be speech as well. What if the person cannot basically speak, and either due to situation or due to some physical disabilities and so on, right? Can you focus on the lip movement as a input and convert that to the query? And once you have converted that, you can whole IR based system will be there.
Okay.
Right.
Hi, sir.
Yeah.
Shall I proceed?
Yeah, Vijay, please.
So the problem of which you said difference in languages while identifying the sentence using lip movement, will it be? Is it varying just because of it's not an English language, or the complexity of doing this, completing this problem will increase when there are say more number of alphabets in a language? I mean, will it be more difficult in Hindi? No, I mean, in Chinese than in Hindi. Is it like that, or it will be same for? It's just a problem of difference in languages, or the or different
so you are
languages
basically
have
going
different
right
complexity.
direction. Yeah. So because if the number of alphabet is going to increase, right? So overall, a word that you'll be making will have you will have more search space to finalize on, right? Because end of the day, I mean, you'll be doing some kind of searching to finalize what the exact word is. Because the for example, the conference is made of these different phonemes. So for example, if you pronounce conference, right? So when you say the conference, I mean, this conference is you are uttering the speech conference. It has different phonemes, right? The phonemes will be longer if the word is longer. Similarly, if you have just performing only the lip movement, in that case, even the voicing will be different, right? So, and not all languages have the exactly same phonemes and the exactly same one. There may be some common phoneme and voicing, but based on the language, they are different, right? So in that case, I mean, the same model which you have trained for one model is not going to work for other, at least in this case, right? You need probably some other ways of dealing with that problem. Is it fine?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Fine, sir.
Okay. So for example, in this case, so what we have done, can you think of lip movement as similar to the television, where television basically whatever the sound it is getting, just produce that sound, right? Whether it's English, Chinese, Hindi, or whatever, right? So they don't worry about the content, right? they only produce what they got it. So can we do something like, based on the lip movement, can we generate the sound? And once it is generated sound, it's more structured, right? Relatively as compared to just lip movement, right? And once it is converted to speech, you can think of, I mean, applying probably refining the query. I mean, you can think it more also like refining a query, or probably improving the performance of your say input query or whole IR system. Similarly, you can also think it like if you have converted to the speech, I mean, probably it may support other languages. So for example, so what we have done in this case, we have converted the lip movement to directly to the speech. In this way, it's not like you have to first convert the lip movement to say text and then text to speech, because there is already text to speech systems are there, right? So because if you are going to solve this problem in 2 steps, I mean, you lose some information for first transforming the lip movement to text and then text to speech. So for example, let me show the video. Did you see what the person has said?
Excuse
me.
Right. He said, excuse me. And you're surprised to know this is generated sound. This is generated sound, and hopefully you can also see that is in sync with the lip movement. So we have generated this sound based on the person's lip movement, and in this way, basically, we basically use a kind of encoder decoder architecture. Simply based on the different lip movement, what are the different sound you can generate, and we can finally produce the sound, right? So in this way, it doesn't matter whether the person is saying Hindi, English, or whatever. Silent, the person is saying see you, right? So here basically, I mean, we have performed the speech reconstruction, and if you train on the person, I mean, if you train some data of the person, you can also provide the personalized speech reconstruction. So this is just a very related example. So in this case, you can see the person is speaking in Chinese. She said, so I hope you heard what she said. So she said ni hao ma. So ni hao ma is kind of hello in Chinese, and we are able to generate this sound based on her lip movement. Similarly, she said xie xie. So at least I understand that the generated or reconstructed sound speech is not very, very humanistic, but at least very closer to that. And at least you can understand what she is going to say, right? In this case, basically, you can help a person by retrieving any information who cannot speak, right? In that case, you can perform such kind of input representation, right? Whatever the query the person has asked, and finally feed it to your information retrieval based system and provide the solution. Similarly, we have done for Hindi as well. So probably the sound is a bit low. So the person is saying Haji. So in this way, basically, I mean, these are just some example related to lip reading that we have done in last few years, and that will be kind of some of them. You can say it's not directly related to IR, but yeah, you can see how you can relate to IR, and this will also help you in defining your project, because many times at a first glance, whatever the project that you are willing to work, you think, I mean, how it is related to IR, but you need to find a way to connect to IR, so that, I mean, you can show as part of the course project here, right? So often in any, probably I should skip this particular part. So often happens like in any lip reading based system or any kind of machine learning based system, you need a lot of data, and especially if you are going to build a system for low resource languages, right? So low resource language, there is very limited data, and you don't have any annotated data for this. So can you basically generate the video? Can you generate the different data for that, right? So it is not directly related to the information retrieval, but it's more about how you can improve the in general lip reading system. So again, it's probably 2 over blaming for the beginners. You can skip this part, but it is just for example, what can you done. So in this particular work, we have done video construction. So if you simply give an image of the speaker and whole audio recording of the phrase, we generate the video speaking that phrase. So that will be clear from this example. So suppose we have the person's only first image, and you have the goodbye whole phrase. So as I said, the sound is made of different phonemes. So this goodbye is made of goodbye, right? So you similar to the phonemes in videos, basically the voicemes are the elements of different lip movement. Similar to the phonemes are the same for audio. So one possibility, you can simply generate that. So I skip this part because that is not actually related, but you can at least see, you can generate the video. Goodbye. So the person is here, you only have whole phrase and the first image of the person, and you can generate the whole goodbye. Goodbye. So one major difference that we have produced here. So because the voicemes are already given, right? For voiceme to phoneme mapping is already available. So if you notice one thing here, it's a bit, basically it's not smooth video. Goodbye. Right? I hope you can see it's not smooth, but this particular video is very smooth. For whole, yeah.
Sir, we are getting the voice a little bit late, like 3 or 5 seconds late. Sir, so yes.
Okay, so is there a lag something?
Sir, you just stop for 3 seconds, then continue. Yes.
Okay.
After playing the video. Yes.
Okay, so I hope it is in sync now, right? So anyways, I think you can skip this example. It's not very much related. So yeah, similarly that we have done for Aap Kaise Hain. So in this way, you can see the audio is made of different phonemes. Similarly, you have voicemes. We have generated intermediate, you can say the frames in order to make it smooth. And once you have all those videos, you can train your model despite you do not have enough data on any low resource language. You can use this data and so on. So one work I want to show today is how you can perform information, because here again we are discussing the different type of system which are possible in IR. So the previous system we thought discussed about the interpreting the input based on the lip movement. What are the other ways of input you can get? Anybody? So can you give an input without touching anything? Without speaking anything, without typing anything?
Hand
gesture, right? So in that case, basically, yeah, so lip reading is one such direction. So in another work, what we have done, so can you understand what you want to type based on your just head movement? So in this particular based work, what we have done, we use the head movement based gesture to type. And once you type again, so then you can perform all the information retrieval based system to provide the answer, right? So the motivation for this particular work is on, there are many people who are suffering from upper limb paralysis. There are people who are having deformed limb, damaged finger, hand, and various other disabilities, right? So different people have different limitations and capabilities. So, if you are building a kind of a generic information retrieval based system, you should be able to cater the need of different type of people, right? It shouldn't be like, if you are building, for example, in IR definition, people say, okay, so usually text, information retrieval system in bracket, usually text. Why text? I cannot write, right? So how this IR based system is going to help me? Right? It is not going to help me. So ideally, the aim of any information retrieval based system to help all kind of people, right? And in that case, you need to build such system for any kind of people that you have in the world, right? So similarly, these are also the people with some of disabilities. Can we build some IR based system for them? The people who have, say, upper limb paralysis, they cannot move their hand, right? Even they cannot say very clearly. At most what they can do is kind of move their head, right? So can we use those input in order to interpret what user want to ask? And once you interpret that, just provide the answer, right? So this is exactly we have done in this work. So in this work, what you can see, many of you may have used swipe based keyboard, right? Suppose if you have to type something, you simply swipe with your hand the different keys you want to type, right? Maybe some of you are aware of. So what we have proposed, can we just replace the swiping by hand to swiping by head movement? And this is exactly we have done. So in this case, you can see, if suppose we have to type love, you simply have to look at LOVE. So in this case, in order to make it more, because if you're going to make the system on word basis, I mean, it's very exhaustive list and you're not able to support. So what we have done, we have converted a whole keyword into different clusters. So like this is one cluster, this is one cluster. Again, we use the QWERTY keyboard because we don't want to propose something which people are not familiar, since QWERTY keyboard is common. So we have divided the QWERTY keyboard into different small clusters, and you simply have to look at the different clusters. So like L is in this cluster, so you have to link this cluster first, this and that. So once you have look at different cluster, right? So in that case, you may have some list of word suggestion similar to here. If you type something, you get some suggestion here like this, that, and that. You can select one. Similarly, we can show some list of words, so you can select different words again. So that can be done many ways, right? So that can be done by simply say blinking your eyes. So probably if you blink your eyes, one might be the first. If you're not satisfied, then probably blink your eyes or probably move your head again or say no or something like that. Again, that mechanism can be done. So here the overall idea is, I mean, if you're building any IR based system, you can get input in many ways, right? And how you can cater all those needs, I mean, that is something the very useful contribution you can make to the different type of people around you. So I've given the example of this is a good example of say information retrieval. So can we give one example of data mining? So I just want to give a very quick example of data mining. So in this case, I mean, based on the person's typing pattern, can you determine the person's identity, or can you understand who they are, right? So in this work, what we have done, so simply looking at this your soft biometric. So that soft biometric could be like the way you type, the way you swipe, the way, I mean, other things, right? So using those soft biometric, using those basically your typing patterns and the way you behave, can we basically determine the personal identifier like age, gender, cognitive assessment, and so on, right? So anybody want to comment, why do we need such kind of system? What is the use of such kind of system? Anyone?
Sir, authentication.
Authenticate, yeah, very nice. Anybody else? Yeah, authentication is, yeah, indeed a very good answer. And so I want to give a kind of one use case for that. So in this case, in this particular use case, you can see, so there is a lady, I mean, a bit old, Rosalie, and she was in communicating with a kind of hacker or someone, right? And who basically impersonated like he is this particular person, very tall, handsome, and so on. And he basically made a scam. Like he said, I mean, yeah, so you are diverse and you are lonely, so probably I can basically help you, and probably, and so on. And in order to giving some kind of lifelong love and something, I mean, he cheated her, right? I mean, probably even we don't know whether it's a he or she, despite, I mean, he impersonated as like this particular person, but we don't know the identity of this person. If somehow there is a system which kind of made an alert to her, okay, so despite this person is portraying like his age is say 40, but based on the typing pattern, if we can understand, okay, so this is not 40, he might be just 20. He is probably he is not a person, probably she is a lady. So based on that, estimation, based on the whatever the estimation you can determine, you can basically raise some alert, and in that way basically you can stop some cheating and scam something to in order to help people, right? So I hope you can see here. So here we are not retrieving the data for a given input. Here it's more we are finding the hidden patterns among the different type of data that we are. It's more typing pattern, is the way you type, or probably the way what are the content you're writing, and probably your location and many other information which are available, right? Any questions here before we proceed? Okay, if not, then let me go to the probably quickly, not quickly, just so we can get started with the now, because I believe now we have a fair understanding of what IR-based system is, what kind of problem we can tackle. So now we can start with the fundamental of information retrieval system and what are the things we are going to study. So we have already given the definition of information retrieval system. So information retrieval is mainly finding material of unstructured nature. So usually the documents, and usually the text that satisfy the information need within a large collection of data. So some of the example that we have discussed, like searching on your laptop, email search, and so on. So do you know, I mean, how this information retrieval system, like systems were there earlier? Do you think the information retrieval was easier before than now? What do you think? What is your comment now to this query? Was the information retrieval was easy in mid 90s as compared to now? Or is it difficult? Sorry?
Nowadays it's difficult because of unstructured data.
Very nice. So if you can see here, like you are very much right? Earlier, I mean, the data volume which are there, I mean, the most of them is unstructured, because usually the people create data in unstructured way, right? Can you give me some example of unstructured data around you?
Tweets, or
I mean, suppose we are talking about mid 90s, there is no tweet at that time.
okay.
So documents, like everything was like basically printed in different formats, like in banks or in any place, and it was just like
Right.
there was not a standardized format,
right?
And it was just filed somewhere,
like in table
Right.
format, etc.
Right. It's more, I mean, you can say just writing essay, writing probably the bank example that you given, or probably many other documents and so on. Often they are unstructured. So, and what do you think is the structured data at that time? Structure is a more, I mean, when you know this is the key, this is the value, right? So often that you have in the kind of database, right? So, but if you see, despite the data volume is mostly unstructured and very less amount of data is structured, but when go to the market, most of the data is structured, because at that time, I mean, we don't know how to deal with unstructured data, right? That's why, I mean, whole system is mainly focusing on the structured data, and they provide the information retrieval for your given query from the mostly the structured data, and that's how it works at that time. But do you think it's the correct representation? Because it's in actual, because ideally this should look similar to this, right? If the most of the data generated is unstructured, right? So in the, I mean, in the market or something, it should be more, right? Or it shouldn't be the case. What do you think?
It shouldn't be the case.
Right? So in this case, if you see now, I mean, so data volume is again quite high for unstructured and bit less for structured. But in the market, if you see now, they are following the similar trend, because if the amount of data mostly which are around you is unstructured, right? You have to deal with that. You need to provide information from that only. So you'll have to deal with that. So now we are in, you can say, relatively in better position in dealing with unstructured data. So that's how the market cap is now increased very significantly. So that's how can you tell me some of the unstructured data in the market here? So that could be tweet that you're referring, that could be any post, that could be, and many other ways, right? So now, I mean, and that basically has complicated the problem, right? Because if you have mostly unstructured data, right, despite, I mean, you have advancing in different technology, still you are much far away than interpreting all the unstructured data. So for example, suppose I'm working with basically a blood request system. How many of you have used blood donation in or something, some handle like that? Have you seen anyone seen a handle of blood donation request or something? So often you see, I mean, if you have seen that particular handle, so if you need data, what you'll do, you simply write, I mean, I need, say, O negative blood here, right? So this is example of kind of free text, or you can say the unstructured data, right? Because in order for the handle, because these handles are nothing but it's a more automated chatbot, right? Or automated chatbot which want to reply to you, right? I mean, as a human, we can interpret and understand the data, that information, but it is not feasible for automated system to understand that. And given that such a huge amount of data is getting generated every day, I mean, do you think it is possible to understand or probably provide the relevant information to the user manually? Do any guess, I mean, how much data being generated every day on Twitter? How many videos generated every day on YouTube?
It should be like a lot, I mean, more than terabytes, if we consider the entire world.
Yeah, so definitely, I mean, you can just quickly check. I mean, it's huge, right? I mean, just if I have to say very big, if I have to give very unstructured answer, I would say it's very huge. It's numerous, right? But again, I mean, that is a good motivation, right? I mean, now you have a lot of data, so we need, and often such handle what does in reply to your post or thread, they said, okay, so please reply or please make your request again in this particular format, right? So that they are asking you to basically give a kind of more structured data so that they can process and automate accordingly. So there is a huge challenge, as well as I would say the huge opportunity here to fill that gap. Can we basically understand the different input query from the user, and if we are able to convert that unstructured to some structured format, that will help you in better information retrieval, because in this way basically you can understand what user want to ask, right? And that's how, because that's why if you recall in the information retrieval pipeline, there's a relevance feedback, there is a query refinement. So this query refinement need not be required if you fully understand the user query, unstructured query to some structured format. So basic assumption of information retrieval is, so you have a set of document, assume it is kind of static collection for the moment. So goal is to retrieve document. So the goal is to retrieve documents with information that is relevant to the user's information need and help the user to complete the task, right? Is it clear? I mean, we have discussed for some time here this, but hopefully it's clear. And if you look at the classical search model, it is very similar to what we have discussed. So you have user task. So for example, get rid of mice in politically correct way. I mean, you don't know how to put this information. So you probably need information about removing mice without killing, right? So how you can query? You can ask query probably how trap mice alive. So once you have this query, and if you see, I mean, if you don't do that correctly, I mean, you're not able to get the so there is always a gap between what user ask and what information is required. Similarly, what query is is required. So if there is misformulation, I mean, if the query is wrong, you're going to get the wrong result, right? So that is something, I mean, you need to be very, very careful. And that's how the unstructured data or the query that you have need to be converted to some structured query in order to provide the correct answer. And once we have done that, you have the search engine, which has a list of collection of documents which are indexed. You can compute the similarity and give the results. And if the query, the result that you are getting is not accurate, you need to perform the query refinement. And based on that query refinement, you fire the query again and get the result. And this will keep going on until the user is satisfied. So how you basically evaluate how good or bad the result is, right? So we have discussed there will be precision and recall are the two. These are the very popular evaluation metric. How accurate your result is. So precision is about fraction of retrieved docs that are relevant to the user information. So for example, I have given you 10 document in response to your query. So out of 10, how many of them are relevant to me, right? So that fraction is called precision. Recall is more about if total there are, say, 10 or 20 documents are there which are relevant to the given query. So how many I have given to you? It's more about recall. So we will be discussing the more formal definition and the examples in the later classes. So this is just to give a very, very quick overview. Since we are running out of time, so we are left with just 3-4 minutes. Any questions now? If not, then we can stop. So any questions now before we end the class today?
I have a question, sir.
Yeah, Dipankar.
Yeah, the question is, sir, like if we, as you were telling about the group project, I just want to have a clarity about the plagiarism policy and the contribution in terms of the members if they are choosing a group project. And also, like if a project is done individually and a project is done in a group, then is there a difference in the like kind of contribution side
No.
or in terms of the process?
So in fact, I answered this in the last class as well. Let me repeat this again. I don't care if you're doing alone or in a group of 5. End of the day, because it is your choice if you want to do it alone or you want to do in a group. So that's why better do in a group so that you have more helping hands to complete the project. Because end of the project, we are going to evaluate the project and not how many people have done it.
So then how will the contributions be marked and also how the plagiarisms will be applied? Can you please explain that part?
No. So how the contribution, what do you mean? The contribution is one thing. Contribution of different members in a group,
yes,
right?
Sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, got it. So ideally, and in fact, most of the case, all the group members will receive the same mark because that is how it works. The reason being, I have mentioned in the earlier class, all students may not get the same marks only if the person is not contributing at all, right? Because I have come across many cases. Look, I'm perfectly fine if some people is doing 25% and some people is doing 20%. The major issue arises when, I mean, one person is doing 50% of the work. Suppose there is 3 members in the team, right? One person is doing half of the work, one person is doing half of the work, and the third person have done nothing. And how I will get to know? I mean, I used to conduct different survey in between just to get to know how you rate your peer. If I see, I mean, it is approximately similar and think that's perfectly fine. And again, I discussed the same with you as well. So why you think, I mean, your peer is saying you haven't done anything else, anything. In that case, I will ask you specifically, okay, so tell me what you have done, what others are done. Again, so this particular thing is very limited to very few people or very few group, because I also want to keep track. I also want everyone should contribute. So as long as, I mean, a third person has done nothing and rest 2 members are saying, no, he has done very good job, I'm fine. I mean, why I should bother about that? Have I answered your question?
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you.
Sir, I had a doubt.
Yeah.
So suppose in a group there are 3 members or in another there are 5 members. So do you expect like the complexity of project to also change with the
No.
number?
I just answered this, right? I don't care about there is 1 people or 5 people in a group. End of the day, I'm going to evaluate the project. So that's why not work with 5 people? I'm saying work with 5 people. You have more helping hand in order to come up with a very good project. Right?
Yes, sir.
So again, it's your choice whether you want to work in a group of 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. I've said, I mean, in a group, there will not be more than 5 people. So you are very much free to just select 5 top people in the class and come up with a very good project. Any question? Any other questions?
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, Dijam.
Yeah. So I wanted to know on what basis you will be evaluating our project. So suppose it's some kind of a research project, right? And we are trying to implement a paper or trying to see where a paper is lacking and trying to improve on that. So
Can
on
you
what?
bit loud? I mean, I barely can hear you.
Okay. Is this better?
Yeah, it's much better now.
Okay. So I just wanted to know on what basis you will be evaluating our projects. So if it's like a research project and we're trying to improve a paper or trying to point out a gap or assumption in one of the papers and trying to fix that, then how will you evaluate that at the end?
So in the end, let me show the slide again. So what I said. So if you see here, what I said exactly. So, sorry. Okay, leave it. So for the project, I mean, so there are several things, right? So either you are contributing to database. Suppose there is, you are creating a new database, a data set which have not exist before. So that itself a good contribution, right? And then probably come up, because there is a kind of trade-off between what are the different things you can do. Either you come up with an engineering-based solution which is providing everything, right? So like you can try the system, you can work with the system. If you're working on more research-based, then probably our focus more on how good evaluation you have done. Are you beating the state of that? What is the state of the result that you have? Are you, whether you are able to just reproduce the result which are there? If probably the code is not available.
Okay. Okay.
Similarly, how much novelty you are adding. So yeah, so it's more about if you are working more on engineering based project. So our aim is to see whole working system for any IR based system. So like I should be able to play with the system. Like I should fire my input query and see how your system is responding. Similarly, if a research based system, I don't worry much about if you come up with a working system, because your aim is more on the building models, right? Or probably beating the state of that. Right?
Okay. Thanks.
Any other questions? Since we are running out of over the time, those who want to leave can leave. And if anyone has any question, can stay. Okay, so I assume there is no question because there is a silence of 10 seconds. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone, and have a good day.
Sir,
And take care.
will you be sharing the slides with us?
Sorry?
Will you be sharing the slides with us?
Yeah, I will be sharing the slides.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.